Hello, everyone. I hope that you are all doing amazing whenever you get a chance to come across this podcast. In today's episode, we are going to do a bit of a deep dive into the Recitessa compilation series that has been gaining a lot of traction online. The full series is composed of hours of storytelling, which unfortunately we're not going to have enough time to dissect, but there are many vital lessons from her experience that I'm sure many of us can relate to and learn from. Recitessa's encounter begins by meeting her now ex-husband online, first red flag, who then moves in with her during lockdown after knowing each other for only several weeks, second red flag. It seems that the narrator, Recitessa, felt as though she had limited time to start a family, being in her early 40s. However, as her story progresses, it's clear that her now husband is a complete fraud and is a professional at leaving a trail of destruction everywhere he goes. Sadly, these entities are among us. But with exposure and education, we can not only protect ourselves, but prevent others from becoming victims too. Let's hear how Recitessa's story concludes.
Who the fuck did I marry? New update. Today is Monday, February 26, 2024. Earlier today, Legion's older brother, Chris, reached out to my friend, Tracy Tripp, an attorney here in Metro Atlanta. He called her firm to ask how he can get in contact with me. Tracy, being the friend that she is, basically had the attitude of, I don't know you. You're going to have to verify. Remember, trust, but verify. Chris did exactly that. On the phone, he verified, because I was on speakerphone when she called me, that he was in fact the older brother. I felt comfortable. I called him from my personal phone. I called him at 2:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He and I spoke, and there were two things that he asked for me to clear up. Here it is. Number one, Legion's mother passed away first. His father passed away a few years later. It was at the father's funeral that Legion brought his ex-wife, and apparently there was an altercation of some kind between Legion and his older brother. They have not seen each other since the father's funeral. The information that I initially gave in my 50-part series was that they have not seen each other since the mother's funeral. So I want to clarify, they have not seen each other since the father's funeral. Secondly, Chris wanted me to also let you all know that their parents, though they are passed away, the parents did everything they could to get Legion psychiatric help. At one point, they were taking him to different therapists and psychologists. He's been diagnosed as a kid with both bipolar and schizophrenia. I did not know this. Chris informed me today, Monday, February 26th, during that phone call, that their father came out of retirement to help pay for the medications. And as Legion got older, he refused to take them. Did not know that. I say all this to say that Chris gave me permission to go ahead and relay this message to everyone to clear up some things that were said in the 50-part series. He also had a message for me. He said, "We support you. The family is not mad at you. We've known how he is for years. You can expose that motherfucker." So thank you, Chris. I told him I would make this video to clarify exactly what he said. And he told me that if you or any friends know the family personally up in Philly, Chris has a message for you. The captain is loose. Apparently, you all should know what that means if you know the family. I say all this to say again, I take responsibility and be accountable for the series that I put out, that 50-part series. So if I said something that was incorrect, I have no issue making sure that I correct it as best I can. However, let me be very clear, ladies and gentlemen. I know what my ex-husband put me through. I cannot speak for anyone else. I can only speak on my experience. I realize that this story sounds absolutely outrageous, but it's true. I filmed it the way I did for a reason, because it's true. I gave you details because it's true, and I stand on that. You all have a wonderful day, And last but not least, to Chris and Tracy, I thank you. Talk to you guys soon.
Firstly, shout out to Big Brother Chris for reaching out to Ressa Tessa and giving her clarity and insight into the troubling past of his younger brother. This right here is incredibly validating. When in these situations, we can sometimes blame ourselves. What did we do wrong for said person to act how they did with me? When in actuality, this is their perverse character and always has been. Over time, they have simply learned to refine their evil craft of manipulating, scheming, and destroying. But when gaslighting is a constant theme, you can sometimes doubt your better judgment. What this scenario also highlights is the fundamental role that the family plays in upholding or exposing their perverse relative. Leaning on my personal experiences, my father's perverse sister loved triangulation, where she would befriend the multiple partners of her son at the same time, making it seem as though she had their best interests at heart, whilst her son did his dirty work. When his multiple girlfriends would simultaneously go crying to his mother, she comforted and reassured them that her son was doing nothing wrong at all. Those who cannot control themselves always work overtime to control others. These entities want to control how you perceive reality so that you accept their absurd version of perversion. To wrap this up, number one, the signs are always there. Do not, under any circumstances, overlook them. They will come back to bite you in the butt. Number two, these entities have studied and sussed us out whilst we walk around with our heads in the clouds. We cannot make that fatal mistake anymore of assuming that everyone we meet is like us, no matter how convincing. And lastly, but definitely the most important of all, always follow your guts about a person, a place, anything. That's God talking. I wish Ressa Tessa the absolute best moving forward in life. May this beautiful queen heal fully and one day find her true partner and not a wolf in sheep's clothing. Clothing. On that note, thank you all for listening to my thoughts on this, and please share yours below. And until next time.